Everyone is back.
Okay, thank you all for your patience. There was some technical difficulties, but we will start from where we were. Again, we are strengthening our instructional core, improve student mastery of reading, language arts, math, science, and social studies.
Okay.
That's one ELA coach, one math instructional coach. ELA coach, $156,778.
Again,
Math coach, $156,778. Also, we are strengthening our instructional core, improve student mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science content knowledge. 6 math teachers with a total of $786,713. 6 ELA teachers with a total of $786,713. 4 social studies teachers for a total of $524,475. And 4 science teachers for a total of $524,475. Next, we are for every implement goal setting, student ownership, and growth mindset for all students. Again, as you can see from the same as above, 6 math teachers, 6 ELA teachers, 4 social studies teachers, and 4 science teachers.
Ms. Mccall, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is there somebody who has audio on in the background? It's very hard to hear you. If there's anybody that has their audio, I don't see, everybody seems to have theirs off. All right, I don't know what that background noise is, but I'm sorry to interrupt, but is there somebody who has audio on in the background? It's very hard to hear you. If there's anybody that has
I'm going to try to continue over it at this point. Our strength is our team. Build teacher and leader capacity. One principal, $228,000, $664, and 3 assistant principals for a total of $509,161. Again, all those include salary and benefits. Our school is efficient and effective. Inform and engage school families, partners, and community members. That includes 1 parent liaison for $66,901 salary and benefits. Our strength is our team. Recruit, develop, and retain highly talented faculty and staff. Again, that's 1 principal with a salary total with benefits, $228,664, and 3 assistant principals with a total of $509,161. Our responsibility is shared. Prepare all students for college, career, and life. Each position listed has a total with salary and benefits of $131,119. That's 1 art teacher, 1 band teacher, 1 chorus teacher, 1 health and physical education teacher, 1 world language teacher, 1 CTE teacher, and also our JROTC teacher with a salary and benefits of $128,149. Next, you will see the proposed use of staffing and non-staffing allocations for our school and school level flexibility. And please, if you have any questions, I know there is an echo in the back, but if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them as I am proceeding through the presentation. Now, when you look at the information that will be presented, I want you to be mindful of the information below. There's a sample table in front of you, and on that table, you can see the summary tab. And the summary tab provides a summary of the staff in our school. The columns show how many positions are allocated. And that information also gives you the baseline. That is what the district recommends for staffing that position, where there is some school flexibility on staffing the position. Staff. That shows you how the principal is proposing to staff the position for fiscal year 27. So again, this line right here, when you look at the column, will be the baseline. That's the district's recommendation. The next column will be the staff. that shows you how the principal proposed to staff for the upcoming school year. In this regards, fiscal year 27, the difference is going to show the difference between the recommendation from the district and the principal's proposed staffing plan. And comments. The principal provides comment and commentary, and if there are any questions regarding this, if there's a difference in what the baseline and staff and the principal and the GO team will discuss the rationale for the use of the school level flexibility. So at this time, please remember, I'm going slide by slide, and if you have any questions, please feel free to do so as I present this information. First, you will see our teachers, our content teachers per grade level. As you notice, the district recommended 19.5. Staff, you will see 20 with a difference of 0.5. As you can see listed, there are 6 math teachers, 4 science teachers, 4 social studies teachers, and 6 ELA teachers. There was a difference of 0.5 because of course 0.5 is half of a teacher, and to ensure there was not a split with any teachers at the building, I decided to increase that FTE by 0.5 to have 20 teachers. And now you will see later on, that does not include your gifted teachers. So gifted teachers are not included in this equation with the numbers that you see. Next, you will see our REP teachers. As you can see, there was a 1.5 was the recommended. Staff was 1. There's a difference of 0.5. So now when it comes to that difference again is because when it comes to us staffing 0.5 of a person, we did not want to do that. But also we have teachers who are certified to provide support to those students. So that money was used to staff in other positions based off the needs of our strategic plan. Next, you will see our enrichments, or some may know as our connections class. We have 1 art teacher. Overall, the district recommended 9. And there's an error at the second one. As you can see, there's an 8 when it comes to our band. There was no recommendation for band. But for our school, we will have 1 art position, 1 band position, 1 music position, and 1 physical education position. So for those members of the GO team, before I proceed to the next slide, do you have any questions pertaining to the slide that is in front of you?
No recommendation for band.
Is there no world language position?
No, we have about 9 more slides to go.
So for those members of the GO team,
okay, our next slide. Our next slide will continue. As you can see, we stopped at our physical education position.
Is there no world language?
Now, Ms. Delnice, your question, yes, there is a world language position. We have 1 world language position that we will staff for the upcoming year. As you can see, there was none recommended by the district. The recommendation for our gifted teacher, the recommendation from the district was 1. For the upcoming school year, we will have 2. That is a difference of 1. I'm happy to say we are truly seeing an increase in our gifted population. And to ensure that those supports are provided to our students and they have several opportunities to be supported, we did increase that. It's proposed that there is an increase of 1 gifted teacher based off of our needs for the upcoming school year. Next, we will look at our CTE and our JROTC and other supports. For our CTE, recommendation was 1. For the upcoming school year, we will have 1. ROTC recommendation was 1. For the upcoming school year, we will have 1. Based off of our ESOL population, 3 was recommended by the district. We will have 3 proposed for the upcoming school year. And for interrelated teachers, and this is based off of this, which is our general budget. There's also a special revenue budget where about 4 of our special ed teachers do sit on that line, so you will not see them throughout this presentation. But for those teachers that sit on our general budget, we have 7 that is recommended by the district and 7 will be staffed next school year. Are there any questions pertaining to this slide before I move on? If there are no questions, I will move to the next slide. Next, again, we stopped at our special ed interrelated teachers. For our special ed lead teacher, recommendation 1, proposed 1 for the next school year. For our MOID, recommendation 1, proposed for the upcoming school year, 1. For our EBDs, recommended 2, proposed for the upcoming school year, 2. For our special ed autism, recommended 1, recommended, proposed for the upcoming school year, 1 FTE. For our speech language pathologists, we are actually shared with another school. Recommendation is 0.7, meaning that pretty much 70% would be paid out of our school's budget and 30% out of that other school's budget. So that is a 0.7 recommendation and a 0.7 proposed for the upcoming school year. Before I move to the next slide, are there any questions regarding this slide?
Paid out of part of our school budget and 30% out of the.
Okay, if there are no questions, I will move on to the next slide.
Recommendation and a 0.7 proposal.
Our next slide, that 0.7 is again is for our speech language pathologist. Next, we have a teacher of a visual impaired teacher. Recommendation is 1.0 FTE and proposed for the upcoming year is 1.0. Next, we're moving down to our paraprofessionals. For our paraprofessionals, for our special ed paraprofessionals, recommendation is 6, and proposed for the upcoming school year is 6. Next, for our ISS monitor, as you can see, the recommended is 1. For the upcoming school year, the proposal is to have none with a difference of 1. Now, I will say, based off of our school data, and it's also based off the standards of service of the district, for the upcoming year, there was not a need for an ISS monitor. And as you can see in some upcoming slides, there is a need for a non-instructional aid. So that proposed position FTE is proposed to be moved to a non-instructional aid, again, based off of data and our needs of the school. Before moving to the other slide, are there any questions?
And as you can see in some upcoming
Okay,
slides,
the next
there
slide.
is a need for non-instructional aid. So
For non-instructional aides, there's no proposed for the upcoming school year. There's no recommended by the district. For the upcoming school year, the recommendation, and this should have been updated, is going to be 3 with a difference of 3. Because again, based off of our needs of our school, there's a need for 3 non-instructional aides. So as stated previously, there's a need for 3 and not a need for an ISS monitor based off of our school data. Next, we will move to our school administration. For principal, the recommendation is 1. And for the upcoming school year, the proposed is 1. For assistant principal, the recommendation of the district is 2. The proposed for the upcoming school year is 3, with a difference of 1. Now, when it comes to our school, of course, we have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade scholars. We want to ensure that our faculty and staff are able to be as functional as possible at each grade level. So to ensure that, and to ensure that equity amongst grade levels, that's why there's a difference in 1, so each grade level can be equipped with an assistant principal. Now for our school secretary, the recommendation is 1. The proposed for the upcoming year is 0. And the difference is 1. And now we have that difference only because if you look up under The role of school secretary, there's a school bookkeeper, and the school bookkeeper completes the same assigned duties, pretty much with the difference of a few of the school secretary. So instead of a school secretary, the proposal is to have a bookkeeper, and for the upcoming year, it's proposed to have one. Now, next you will see our school clerk. Our school clerk, that includes records clerk and front office clerk. Recommended is one, proposed for the upcoming school year is two. That leaves a difference of one. Again, there, we have both a front office and a records clerk, and both of those are comprised of under that school clerk position. So to ensure that there is, the support for the main office, but at the same time, the records for the school, that is a proposed increase of one for that FTE. So that is why you see the number one for the difference. So at this time, are there any questions regarding the school clerk position? I'm sorry, this slide. And T, please make sure if you have any questions, you pose those questions. Because remember, our next meeting will be the voting component for the budget. So all questions, please pose them if you have any at this time.
At this time, are there any questions regarding the school clerk position? I'm sorry, this slide.
Our next position is our clinical therapist. Recommended, 0, proposed, 1, a difference of 1. Of course, we want to make sure that our students have full support during the school year, not only academic support, but both social and mental support. So there is a need based off of the documentation and data that we do have at Long Middle School. There's a need for a clinical therapist to support, again, those behavioral and mental supports needed for the students. So as you can see, there is a difference of 1 because there's no district recommendation, but the proposed is 1 FTE for the upcoming school year. Next, you have school counselor. The district recommendation is 2. The proposed is 3 for the upcoming year. And that leaves a difference of 1. Again, just like the assistant principals, we want to make sure at all grade levels there's equitable support for our students. And so to ensure that there's a difference of 1, to ensure that both 6th, 7th, and 8th grade scholars have a counselor on each grade level.
Is for the upcoming year. That leaves a difference of 1, again, just like the assistant principals. We want to make sure all.
Next, we have our instructional coach position. Recommended is 2. As you can see, they are non-listed because on the next slide, they're actually separated by content area. So that leaves a difference of 2. But again, the next slide, you will see instructional coaches based off of content. Prior to moving to the next slide, are there any questions?
Recommended is 2. As you can see, they are non-listed because of the
next you will see our instructional coaches position. ELA to 11, 1, with the difference the proposed for the upcoming school year is a 1 FTE and a difference of 1 because again, as the previous slide, the instructional coach position had a recommendation of 2, and you can see our ELA and math instructional coaches, both will give you that FTE count of 2. So that's why you see this difference of 1. Now moving to the media specialists, recommended 1, proposed for the upcoming year 1, with a difference of 0. Parent liaison, there's no recommendation by the district. Proposed for the upcoming school year is 1 FTE, which is a difference of 1 based off of the recommended and the proposed. Now, of course, in middle school, most often we want to make sure our parents are engaged. So to ensure parent engagement and to ensure parents are supported with any needs that they have, we have a difference of 1 because we want to make sure parents have that support. So the parent liaison position, again, that is where you will see the difference of 1 because there's not a recommendation, but our proposal is to staff 1 FTE for the upcoming school year. Prior to moving to the next slide, do you have any questions for this slide in front of you?
Parents have that support. So the parent liaison position, again, that is where you will see the difference. Now, because there's not a recommendation, but our proposal is to.
Next, we have our school RN. Recommendation, 1. For the upcoming year, we are proposing 1. For our next position, signature program coach. The recommendation, there is not a recommendation because now there has been a shift to innovation. So the schools have the opportunity to determine if they would like to remain with the signature program or create another innovative program to support scholars. Based off of our previous meetings, we selected to remain STEAM or signature program. So there was not a recommendation by the district, but our proposal for the upcoming school year is 1, which will give you a difference of 1. And of course, we want to continue with our STEAM model to support not only the work that has been done at Long Middle School previously, but to continue this work to ensure our scholars, they're able to receive those skills, especially those critical thinking skills needed to be college, career, and life ready. And also, we have a signature paraprofessional recommended 0, proposed for the upcoming year 1 with a difference of 1. Now, again, the signature program paraprofessional, they support the STEAM innovation that we have at Long Middle School, but of course, there are also cross-content and interdisciplinary to support the needs of those teachers, to support those students' needs in their content areas also. Before I move to the next slide, I'm going to give you time to review. And again, are there any questions before moving to the next slide?
Teachers to support those students' needs in their content areas also.
Social worker, recommended 1, proposed for the upcoming year 1, so there's no difference.
Any questions?
For our SST interventionists, recommended, there's no recommended. Proposed for the upcoming school year, 0.5.
Social worker?
And a difference of 0.5. For the upcoming school year, it is proposed that we have a half-time MTSS specialist as we did this school year. So that is why you will see the difference of 0.5. Prior to moving to the next slide, are there any questions?
0.5. And a difference of 0.5 for the upcoming school.
Next, we have our school psychologist recommended 0.5, proposed for the upcoming year 0.5. Now, something new on the line for this school year, well, for the upcoming school year, we will have our own in-house custodial team. So recommended for the upcoming year is 3 and proposed is 3, and there is no difference. Recommended 1 site manager. Proposed 1 site manager. School resource officer, recommended 2, proposed 2 for the upcoming school year. And again, I'll give you the opportunity to review prior to me moving on, and if you have any questions, please feel free to do so at this time. Now we will look at the non-staffing tab. The non-staffing tab shows how funds are allocated for non-staff items in the school. There's school level flexibility for most of these items. The tab has columns for, again, recommended, which is districts recommend the amount to spend on the line item. Allocation, this shows how much the principal is proposing to allocate towards the line item in fiscal year 27. Difference. This shows the difference between the recommended amount and the allocation amount. No, the principal must provide comments if there's a difference in what is recommended and what is allocated. Principals and board teams will discuss the rationale for the use of school level flexibility. First, you will see our reserve amount. Our reserve amount is the amount that once we do our 10-day head count, if we are at least at our projected enrollment of 580 students, then we will receive our reserve fund. Anything below that, which is our recommended amount, anything below our projected enrollment amount, it will decrease by the per pupil amount for each individual student, which for this school year will be $5,964. So again, that reserve, if we meet our projected enrollment, we will receive that $111,779. If we do not, for each pupil we are under our projected enrollment, we will lose $5,964 from the reserve amount. Now, for our teacher stipends, of course, we have dedicated teachers at Long Middle School. So beyond the scope of the district stipends that for academics allocated for the upcoming school year is $3,000 to support the work of the teachers. For the secretary overtime allocation for the upcoming school year, there's no recommended, but the allocation is $1,000 to support our secretaries who may stay overtime to do additional work, but at the same time for school activities and any meetings that we may have after school. Next, custodial overtime, $24,745. That recommended amount was allocated. Next, the recommendation for school resource officer overtime is $7,000, but $47.56 allocated, because oftentimes, most of the time, our activities take place during the school day. So that's why there is that difference. Of allocation of $5,000 for student transportation, again, to support our scholars for much needed exposure. $3,000 for any web-based subscriptions that the district may not purchase. Beyond what the district does purchase. Instructional employee travel for any professional developments for our faculty and staff. Administrative employee travel for any needed professional developments for our administrative team. And student transportation. That includes buses for after-school activities and any after-school tutorial programs that we may have alongside any field trips. Student transportation charter buses, which was $5,000 allocated, is different from student transportation APS buses, because again, one is APS buses and one is charter buses. Are there any questions regarding this slide in front of you?
Programs that we may have alongside any field trip.
Next, teacher supplies, $29,000 was allocated. Signature program supplies, $3,000 was allocated. Media supplies, $46.40 was allocated. Books other than text for instruction, $2,000 was allocated. Student admissions, $5,000 was allocated. And again, this is to support our scholars being exposed and to pique their interest in other activities. $5,000 was allocated. Are there any questions regarding this slide before I move on? Next, academic stipends, $34,700. Again, that is for our dynamic staff, for our grade level chairs, for our academic chairs, and any academic supports provided by our teachers. $34,700 were allocated. For substitutes recommended by the district was $69,872. Recommended, proposed is $83,952, with a total difference of $14,080. Initially, the district offered 10 days per staff member. This year, there was a decrease of 8, but due to the amount when it comes to the rate for a daily sub, that made an increase to $83,952. So that's where you see the difference of $14,080. And at the bottom, you will see our substitute, that is insurance and benefits, the FICA, and that's $1,013. The proposed for the upcoming year is $1,217 with a difference of $204. Are there any questions?
Substitute pay rate went up
by the number of days and the staff member that we have. So we actually have to multiply the number of employees that we have in the building. And remember that we did have a decrease last year because unfortunately we had some abolishments. But at the same time, there were some increases as far as aid. So,
Substitute pay rate went up.
and so we have to factor that in.
The number of days and the staff members that they have.
Now, in front of you, this will give you an overall description of our school budget and how much is spent in each area. So for instruction, with the FT of 54.7, the proposed budget for the upcoming year is $6,946,523, and that is a per pupil cost of $11,977. For pupil services or support, that's 10 positions in the building with a budget of $1,217,470, or a per pupil cost of $2,099. To improve instructional services, we have an FT of 3 with a budget amount of $470,335 with a per pupil cost of $811. For instructional staff training, we have none. For, $5,000, that is for our instructional staff training. That is a $9 per pupil cost. For our educational media services, we have an FT of 1, which is a budget amount of $149,632. That's $258 per pupil. For school admin, we have an FTE of 7, that is principal, assistant principal, instructional coaches, signature program. That total is $950,428 with a per pupil cost of $1,639. For maintenance and operations, that is a site manager and 3 custodial staff members. That's $291,937 at a per pupil cost of $503. For school safety and security, that's 2 SROs, a budget amount of $229,174, per pupil cost of $395. And for transportation, there's no FTE for that, but that's $15,000. That is including both APS buses and charter buses with a per pupil cost of $26. So that gives a total FTE for the upcoming year or people, 81.7. That gives a budget total for the upcoming year of $10,275,499. And that gives a per pupil cost overall of $17,716. And right here, you will see a table which shows that 60% of our monies for the upcoming year will be used for instruction. 12% will be used for pupil services. And as you can see, looking at the ledger, 9% will be used for school admin, and the remainder will be used for areas such as improvement of instructional services, instructional staff training, educational media services, maintenance and operations, school safety and security, and transportation. Our reserve funds. Our reserve funds. Now, with our reserve funds, $111,779. That is how much we will have remaining if we meet our projected enrollment. Now, our focus areas proposed for those areas, if we do, we are caring for every child. Utilize systems and resources that identify and address root causes to promote social and academic growth. If we meet our projected enrollment, the goal is to use $74,511 to complete that remainder FTE for our MTSS specialists and increase that from 0.5 to a 1 FTE. So $74,511 of those funds will be used to increase that FTE to 1. Next, we are strengthening our instructional core. Improve student mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science content knowledge. The goal is to have our Tiger Win Saturday Academy, which will be $25,000. $15,000 of that will be to make sure we have staff to support our scholars, and $10,000 of that will to provide transportation, which is a very big barrier for our scholars. So $10,000 of that will be utilized for transportation. Now, before I stop sharing, and I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, only because I do notice that same 1 minute and 23 second countdown regarding the Zoom link. So, would we like to leave and just come back and hop back on so we can finish before it cuts us off? Okay, so this time, I'm going, can we please just hop off and hop back on? And thank you, everyone. I do apologize for this inconvenience. Okay, this time we're going to exit out because we have less than a minute, and if we can hop back on, that would be